Today, what's the date now? Anyone know this date? What's the date today? 21st. I know the date today, but I'm just trying to awaken your conscience. As we approach 31st of March, by requirement of law, all of us are supposed to report on our work that we've concluded last year. Is that correct? Yes. So you are 10 days away from the due date of reporting on what you have done last year. This is requirement of law, and many times we have not been compliant to the requirement of law. If those of us holding custody to the laws of our country and public policies are not adhering to basic legal expectations of our country, then you don't expect everyone else outside to be lawful. And I will conclude my conversations with all of you for this breakfast occasion by asking you to keep law. But before that, let me give you some studies that I've been doing. You know, South Korea, I spoke about South Korea in the Pangu convention we had about some weeks back, right here in this venue. South Korea is an important case study that I've been doing for some time. South Korea in 1953 was amongst the poorest. They were ranked like Somalia and Haiti. They were even behind North Korea. South Korea GDP per capita 1953, $67. $67. Guess what? In 1973, 20 years later, there were only $407 per capita. Papua New Guinea in 1973 was $486 per capita. So who's higher in 1973? PNG 486, South Korea 407. So that's 1973. 1975, we still remain in the 480s. We were 485 from the records I have. South Korea had gone past us to $617 per capita. Today, 50 years later from 1973, South Korea is the 11th biggest economy at $33,147 per capita. Papua New Guinea, we've just gone past $3,500 per capita. That's the journey, speaking from a macro economy, using per capita income as a painting for you to appreciate in your mind. Some more statistics. The land size is around 100,000 square kilometers. 100,210 square kilometers. So it's just a little over 100,000. Papua New Guinea's land size is 462,840 square kilometers. So we are 4 times bigger than them. Professor Zuba, 4 times bigger than them. Does that okay? Ojiba, listening or not listening? Keke used to be my workmate. He was FAS and I was AS at DPM before, so I know him at that level. That's why I'm calling his name. So in a small landmass, and just for comparison, our own Western province is 98,000 square kilometers. So they're only 2,000 bigger than our own Western province. Our own Western province has a gold mine, has a fertile land that is blessed by abundant river system. You can harvest forestry, you can harvest agriculture 365 days a year. South Korea, 4 months a year, winter. Only 30% of the land arable. From poverty at 1953, still behind us at 1973, gone past us at 1975. Today, 11th biggest economy. Papua New Guinea still ranks, still way below. What happened? Really, what happened is a question we also be asking. With no blame to the past, but for us today to construct our own future. I repeat, with no blame to the past are lessons which is read. But for us today, all of us, you and me, put together, here this morning, in this room, is the class of Papua New Guineans who can make it matter most for our country. There's no one else out there, only the provincial administrators and district administrators out there, the district court magistrates, the judges in the chambers. Majority of us here, state-owned enterprises, departmental heads from the chief secretary, ministers, myself, all of us, as servants of our people. We should be asking, from the poorest nation on earth in South Korea, how comes today the 11th biggest economy? Very, very soon there'll be the 8th or if not 9th biggest economy. They progressed and you and me are trotting along. It's okay. Someone else will do it. I'm okay. Our span of horizon has been always reduced to a fortnightly income span. All of us, me included. That is why we have remained in this quagmire of lack of progress, when other nations around us have made substantial progress. The Asian tiger economies, you look at the Asian tiger economies west of us, Indonesia included, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. Vietnam, yesterday we were discussing the across of land. I didn't mention in the cabinet conversation, but I'll make mention if agricultural secretaries. Vietnam, 1981, they bought coffee seedlings from Ayura, coffee nursery. Today, they've emerged as second or third biggest coffee producing nation in the whole world. We, the one who've landed their coffee seedlings, have regressed back to absolute obscurity in the coffee market, globally speaking. And so, we asked this question in 2024. This is our past, or that was our past rather. We have a future ahead of us. 2024, we stand face to face with 50 years of nationhood in 2025. Successful countries, when they come face to face with 50 years, they've made substantial progress in all indicators. The social indicators, the economic indicators, the law and justice sector indicators. For us, sadly, we seem to be making regress and not progress. The question we ask is, what is it that all of us must do? I want to encourage all of you, today is not about finding who's at fault, but to rally all our consciousness. After this breakfast, you go back to your own office. Just spend some 30 minutes yourself. Not on your phone, not with your staff. Maybe take a drive back to your office, drive yourself. Tell the driver to come in another vehicle. Think about what is it that you must do for your country. Your country needs you. Our country needs us together, collectively, this team here, to be working with not a fortnightly lens, but a lens for a nation, not just for us politicians. We see from a 5-year horizon, but I want all of us to see for the next 20 years. The South Korean story of progress started in 1953 after the Korean War. Disseminated, and I use them as an example because their example really inspires me. They can do it. We can do it. There's a story. Last time I was in South Korea, you know what happens? When the elderly generation walks into a bus, or into a train, or into a plane, the younger generations will vacate their seat, or stand in awe and pay respect to the elderly generation. The reason why the younger generation of South Koreans pay respect to the elder generation is because the elder generation worked to create the lifestyle the younger ones are living today. When we retire into our country, as our tenure in public offices are, both elected and appointed, we are. One day we will no longer be in these jobs we occupy today. When you retire into your village, when you retire into your town, when you retire into your province and into your country, will the younger ones give you respect as you retire? Respect is not forced, but is earned. And our people are watching. They're watching me. I take all the blames. Where I go, I choose to be in this game. I take all the blames. It comes with the territory. And our people are watching us, all of us. We all under the scrutiny. And if us collectively work, we too, when we step out of this job, hopefully in 20 years, our country could appreciate our generation's input into modernizing our country, into ensuring that our economy is robust and diversified and strengthened, into ensuring that all parts of our country have enabling infrastructures that throttles them into contributing economic zones, to ensuring that healthcare of our people, 1 hour within which, to ensuring that no child is left behind in education, and they're not just getting the maths and science and social science and English, but they're getting holistic education to skill them, empower them, shape them to be contributors to their own country, to ensure our people are fired up to participate in the economy. This is the country we must build for the next 20 years. And it starts now. 50 years ago this year, our country was still facing independence. The generation before us, in the midst of many they would have done, but the best thing they have done is gifted us the country we live today. Gifted us the education, the privileged few today we have. They have done their best in the circumstances they were in. 75, many doubted our ability to hold together as a nation. But the Somali generation birthed our country from absolute nothing into what we have today. Let's not abuse the country we have today. Let us all work. Today is about engaging conversation for you to look deep within yourself. All of you work, but there's space to do better amongst ourselves. Every day I go home and say, have I done enough today? I ask you ask the same question, have you done enough today? There's a wise Greek proverb that goes like this. I want to read this, I quote this morning. Society grows great when all men plant trees whose shade they don't see none. Society grows great when all men plant trees whose shade they don't see none. I don't know whether you're young, but I'm getting old. Every day I'm losing hair and I'm getting whiter. Doesn't matter how much dye I try to put into my scalp, but that doesn't erode the fact that I'm getting old in life. Life expectancy is 70 years by Bible standard, and I wish you a long life. But as you grow as you live every day into the future, you're moving closer towards your own redundancy. Are you planting trees that will give shade to your children, their cousins, and the kids men in our country? The most diverse nation on the planet Earth, but we still live together, pull together, all together. Or are you chopping down trees that are already planted by the Somali generation? They planted a tree called Papua New Guinea today, and are you chopping it down? Are you harvesting the fruit they planted and not replanting it yourself? The question that all of us must ask. And I want to bring my conversation to a conclusion. If South Korea would have done it with absolutely no resource, but human resolve to do better for the country. They had no gold mine. They had no oil fields. They had no gas fields. They had no timber. They only had some fisheries. But they used public policy of import, downstream processing, and export. They're able to build a nation from obscurity and nothing into absolute abundance today for the children. What is you and me and our contribution to our country? This is the question I want to leave behind with each of you as we conclude this session. 31st of March is the date in which all of us by law are required to submit our work that we have done last year. Last year, I do not know whether some of you heard what I said in Parliament in support of Budget 2024 papers. As we presented last year's budget, I had a speech, a short speech, because I was on my way out to Dubai COP28. I said, the bigger the budget, comes bigger the expectations of delivery to our people. The budgets in 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s were far less. Today, the budget is bigger for those of us in the central agency, PM's department, treasury, planning, finance. You're not to be micromanaging and micro-delivering and micro-pushing papers here and there, collecting submissions all over the place. You elevate yourself to the think tank, the bigger voice. You coordinate at a macro level. Tell you, it pains me to see planning collecting submissions all over the place. Treasury collecting submissions all over the place. Officers, you are macro thinkers. It's the sectors who should be doing job. But we must now refurnish the entire public service structure so we don't become impediments, but ensure we prepare PNG public service, a better public service. So that post-2025, we all systems go to fire up to serve our country better. Our country depends on this generation today. For the next 20 years, we do well, the country is a better place when we turn 70. 70 years is maturity in any nation's life or any one person's life. By 70, we would be old, wise men and women of our country. We have 20 more years to do our planting of our trees. I counsel you, I rally you, I ask you to look deep within. Don't do things that will be harmful to your country. In conclusion, 3 simple requirements I ask of you this morning. Firstly, follow the law, then follow lawful instructions. I want to repeat, follow the law and follow lawful instructions. Law is clear. Last night I was talking to someone in some of the Adventist groups. It was a pastor and he was trying to talk like a lawyer and a politician inside the group. I told him, stick to your lane and speak on things that you know better. Don't talk about things that you may not really know. But I said the Constitution will never be broken in any case. So the Constitution is set, the laws are set. So for all of us, let's follow the law, and for those of you who take instructions, follow lawful instructions. If instruction is not lawful, you have every right to advise back this instruction is not lawful. And for those of us who give instructions, give lawful instructions. So the number one point is let's follow the law. And that includes reporting like 31st of March, what we have all been doing as you go into the second quarter of this year, trying your best to bid for funding to support your work program. For the balance of this year, the basis of your work last year must be the basis of your submission for work funding for this year. We know the new government. You know that our focus has been set in 2019. We have not reinvented the wheel. Our commitment to the country in 2019 and our recommitment to our country after we took the lead from our people in 2022 elections. Our KRA has been given to all of you, the key result areas. Each of you have your key performance indicators to benchmark against your performance. I just want to also announce that Chief Secretary will very soon bring a policy in that no longer will your own ministers vote you back or submit you back into office. But the Chief Secretary must also rank that you have delivered to the expectation of government for you to seek another term. That will be a new inclusion into a provision in our Public Service Management Act for you all to come back. If you want to have another term in office, you would have delivered on the key result areas expected of you as head of the organization. So I just ask all of you to follow the law, follow the key areas that we've set, and needless to repeat, but follow lawful instructions. Sometimes instructions are not lawful. You have every right to refuse. Secondly, do your job faithfully. Do your job faithfully. And for those of us who are leading organizations, it may require you to eat into your time and work late. I just ask you, your country deserves you to work extra hours also. Don't ask for money. You're a leader of the organizations. You're already a minister. You're already a department head. Put in the extra time and work faithfully. You know, someone didn't work faithfully. That's why our defense are not getting the pay. Someone. Sitting there inputting those data. That's the everyday bread and butter job. Someone should be supervising them. Never supervised. Everyday bread and butter job. The January 10th mayhem would not have happened. Not to excuse the police who should be lawful themselves. Someone should have been inputting those salary inputs. Yet not, that someone never showed up to work. For whatever it was worth, it's costed us quite a substantial dent in reputation in our economy. So please, do your job faithfully. There's someone else reporting to you. Is supposed to be doing their job, but are you supervising them diligently, faithfully, making sure they're at the post of duty? And lastly, but not the least, report your job to your ministers. Your ministers will report to Cabinet, and Cabinet will approve, and Parliament will be told. Parliament is where people get to hear what you've been doing in your country. So, to conclude this morning's session, breakfast conversation, follow the law, do your job faithfully, and report your work to your ministers. And your ministers will then process it on to report to our people through the Parliament. I wish you all nothing but good health and a successful work week, successful work month, successful work year. Don't forget your role for your country. Plant the trees in which your children can enjoy the fruits and safety. Don't waste time. There's no one else, it's just us. If we do it well, our generation could certainly retire 20 years from today and said, in our time, we were able to come together and construct a modern Papua New Guinea that is good for our children. And so I just want to say, today is not about criticism, but for us to be encouraged in the call of our humanness to find what is it that you must do better. If you're already doing better, push the pedaling of work to the next mile. If you're not doing it yourself, assess yourself. Your boss will not be there to assess you all the time. Your people is not there to assess you all the time. They see from a distance. But you yourself look into the mirror all the time. You see your face in the mirror all the time. And so the next time you see your face in the mirror tomorrow morning, I don't know, some of you see your face every now and then, but I see it every morning before I get up. The next time you come to face with yourself in the mirror, ask the person standing back at you, are you doing a honest work for your country? Are you planting the seeds, planting the trees in which say you will not sit under, but your children will sit under as they live in this country? God bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much for listening in.